so loud. I think to myself,
I'm debating
irritated.
whether I should go to my friend's birthday party. I'm close to her, so it'd be weird if I don't go. But I have this sickening, anxious feeling.
These seats are uncomfortable, which makes me annoyed that I have to sit here in the first place. I closed my laptop once online school was over. My legs underneath me starting to hurt. Ow, I whine out, stretching my legs, feeling tired on top of my irritation and annoyance.
My routine after school, I see my mom cleaning, saying my usual hello, and then I'll be in my room for a few minutes. I open my door and sit down on my chair as I take out a piece of paper and pencil. God, I hate this math class.
I turn to leave the kitchen, not getting anything from the fridge. I know there's nothing in there because we haven't gone to the supermarket in a while, so there's no point in checking. It's always like this. I sigh in disappointment, looking away from the fridge.
In the midst of washing the dishes, my mom blasts her joyful Christian music as I begin to write my homework. Cleaning is one of my mom's favorite activities, and sometimes she cleans every day. In the middle of writing my homework, my pencil lead breaks. My dad walks in and tells me that we must take my mother to the hospital, causing my heart to drop, just like my pencil lead. Why is this happening to me? What's going on?
What if something goes wrong? What if I just go deeper into that sunken place and just shut everyone out again? What if there's a lot of people there? The thought of that makes my heart race. I take a moment to think about it, but I still have that stomach-turning feeling as I begin to imagine all the possible ways it can go downhill.
I start wandering around my house, dragging my legs. This place is a mess, and I know I'm gonna have to be the one to clean it up later. My body feels heavy. I'm half asleep and feeling tired.
What if I have a panic attack? What if I actually throw up from nervousness? What if something embarrassing happens to me? I hate the what if. Or maybe the what if hates me. Or maybe I'm just scared of it. Or maybe it's just the way I view things.
He tells me to pack her clothes and things. I start sweating nonstop, rushing to get her stuff. But what's happening? Should I pack this or should I pack that?
I observe my little cousins on the floor blasting Cocomelon on the TV so loud that you can hear it through the bathroom door while also watching their iPads. I don't like kids. They take too much time and energy. I also don't like Cocomelon. I hate the singing and the dancing, and the kids on the show are ugly to look at. I stare at my cousins, my annoyance growing every second. My eyes are twitching. I want to rip their hair out.
After what feels like an eternity of rambling thoughts, I text my friend that I don't want to go anymore. But she keeps pestering me about how it's a quinceañera and I should be there for my friend and so on and so on.
Oh, and I see the dogs chewing up some shoes, their eyes showing no care in the world. Must be nice, doing whatever you want. I want to be a dog. I place myself in their place, clenching my fist in jealousy.
I end up agreeing to go, but all I can think about is that something would cause me to get back down. And this time, I just give up and try to get back up again.
My heart starts beating fast enough that it can't even keep up. My dad throws the bag into the trunk while me and my mama get in. I start feeling butterflies in my stomach, but not in a good way. My dad drives to the nearest hospital faster than Fast and the Furious.
On the way to the party, not a word is spoken.
The whole car ride was silent.
I hear bickering, turning my head to see my dad and my brother fighting over the dishes. Pots and pans clashing against each other to see who can be the loudest between the two of them. Please ignore me.
We got off and rushed her to the emergency room, my heart pounding. This is serious. I felt weak, so weak. They took her away in the hospital bed, and there it was, the heavy weight of emotions. I started pacing back and forward, side to side.
I rub my sweaty palms against each other. All I can think of is something already went wrong and something else is gonna go wrong.
I continue on walking into a dark hallway that leads to every room in my house. It's so dark and scary. I move forward, making sure to look behind me every few seconds. I keep my arms close and my eyes wide open. The nervousness is creeping in.
Finally, we arrive. And I quickly get out of the car, waiting outside the house for my friend to open the gates. At this point, I feel like I want to throw up, and the spikes on the gate aren't helping my case.
I continue walking, observing room to room. Nope, nope, and nope. I sigh again, clenching my fist. My movement felt heavier, frustration clinging onto me. I get to the end of the hallway and there's one room left. Please, God, be empty.
God, that waiting room was so freaking full. We couldn't find a seat to sit. The sight of sick people, the sound of people dying, and that smell of hand sanitizer. An hour passed by as we waited in that white basic hospital waiting room, and my hands kept pouring out sweat.
My hands sweat and I hesitate a bit. I lean against the door to see if I could hear anyone inside. Please be empty.
After a few seconds, I see my friend come out. The moment I see her, I run to give her a hug, in which she crushes me in. Physically, it hurts, but for a moment, just for a moment, all my worries and anxieties melt away. I find so much comfort in her. I think I might cry on her shoulder.
Finally, a nurse and doctor came to us, but they told us to go home and that we weren't able to see her today. I started to panic. I asked a bunch of questions, yet they couldn't seem to find an answer to any of them. So we left. The ride back was silent, like always.
I turn the doorknob and I push the door open. I plead to myself one last time, please be empty. I bite my fingernail before heading in.
I visited my ama twice a day, every day of the week. I felt so warm when I was next to her.
We stay like that for a bit before she leads me to the backyard,
Please
where
be empty.
everything is beautifully decorated.
Please be empty.
Finally, I was back with my ama, and I would take time to make her food. Will she want soup or just eggs?
There are tables covered in silk green cloth, each with a bottle of champagne and a vase of roses in the middle. Hanging lights placed all over, the scent of petals filling the air. There's this enchanting atmosphere. All I can think is, this is a big-ass house. What's this doing here? I was so distracted by everything, I don't even notice how many people there are. Not that it matters to me in that moment.
We got a phone call telling us to go to the hospital. Me and my dad rushed faster than a race car. We walked into the same white, basic hospital.
I go into the room, I cover my eyes, and the brightness of the room blinds me. I hate the light. I jump back, rubbing my eyes in shock. I kept going in, though. I hate the light, I said over and over again.
Will this be the day that my ama comes home?
I go to the front of the yard with all my friends, and for the first time in a long time, I feel a wild burst of energy throughout my whole body.
And my hands finally stopped sweating, and I stopped pacing.
My heart races.
My heart felt joy and calm,
My legs feel the impulse to run for miles.
and that heavy feeling was taken off my back.
The light hit me all at once. I was overwhelmed. I looked around the room and I noticed no one was in here. Thank God. The words slipped right out of my mouth.
Me and my friends share memories. I finally feel genuinely connected to them.
The nurse came in and walked us to her room, and as she was opening the door, my heart dropped.
There's this fuzzy feeling in my chest. I
felt-
feel at peace.
I felt as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders.
Why is my ama crying?
My mind isn't scattered.
I look over to my bed underneath the window and I take a few steps forward.
I asked what was wrong,
Alone at last.
but the room was silent.
The birds chirping in the background and the loud sounds from my house were muted out.
The doctor said she had a non-working kidney and she would need dialysis. He kept saying that she would be very tired and would also need lots of help and someone near.
A sense of peace filled my mind.
My thoughts aren't jumbling. On the contrary, they flow smoothly, remembering one blissful memory after the other.
I went to sit next to her, finding myself tearing up, and she hugged me and told me that everything was gonna be okay.
I noticed my cat sleeping on his blanket. I wish I was a cat. I smiled at him, taking in the moment, nothing in my mind but peace. I go to my bed and lay down next to my cat and I cuddle with him because he is so soft. The sound of his purrs bring me joy, and I'm finally feeling content with everything.
1 hour later, I get picked up by my mom. Just like before, there's silence. But this time, my palms aren't sweating, my heart isn't pounding, or I don't have a swirling feeling in my stomach anymore. This silence is comfortable. She breaks it though and tells me it's the happiest she's seen me in a long time. She asked me about how'd it go, and I start pouring everything out, everything I did, and suddenly I'm back to that familiar place of talking so much I need to catch my breath. I come to realize that nothing bad happened during the whole time. Maybe I don't hate the what if. Maybe the what if doesn't hate me. Maybe I should just trust the what if. Even if what if was to be a bad thing, I would have people like my friends or my mom that would be there for me. And that way it wouldn't be that bad.
It's been 5 years now, and she continues going 3 times a week. And even if I find myself getting used to the smell and sick people in that white, basic hospital room where you can never find a seat, I somehow just know that I'll be okay.
I'll be okay.
I'll be okay.
I grew more independent in this big world full of crowded streets.